Welcome back to a new video. In this video we are going to talk about random module or random library. This library is a powerhouse when it comes to generating random numbers, and we will explore various functions it offers. Now the first step is to import the library. We will say import random, and after importing it you can use its functionality. Great, so this library is a part of the Python standard library, so you don't need to install anything extra. Let's kick things off by generating a single random number using random.random. So we will say random.random and we will get a random number. We can just run this cell as many times we want and it will give random number every time, like this. This function returns a float between 0 and 1. Perfect for many scenarios like simulating probabilities and etc. Now, what if you need a random integer within a specific range? So we can say random.random integer like this, rand integer, and we are going to define its limits like 1 to 100. So here is 75. We can just rerun this and we will see different number every time. Here I'm generating a random integer between 1 and 100. We can change these limits like 200 and it will generate more than 100, and great. So let's talk about other methods. Now we are going to talk about shuffling. Let's create a list like my list and let's give 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And here is our list. Now shuffling a list can be useful especially in applications like games or data pre-processing. So what we can do is we can say random.shuffle and we can say my list after that. It will shuffle our list and it's going to update the list. Like if I call the list again, we are going to see that the order of it is going to change like this, and I'm just going to call it in here, and whenever I run this we are going to see that our indexes are in different orders. So now let's think like we need to make a random selection from list. So what we can do is we can call random.choice this time and we can give our list. Like whenever I run this, it's going to give me a random element from our list like 4, 2, 5, 3, 1, different every time. It just picks an element from this list. Okay, let's see how we can generate random floats using .uniform method. I will say random.uniform and then I'm going to say 2.0 and 5.0. and we will get a random number between this range. Like again, you can just rerun this cell and get different numbers every time, like this. By setting a seed with random.seed, you can ensure that your random results are consistent across runs. You can think like you can control that randomness, like we can just say random.seed and then I will say like, let's say 3. So after that we can just use random.random and it's going to be a random number with seed like this, and I'm going to just call the random.random again and we will see that it's a different number. But if I say that like random.seed and say 3 again, we will see this number right now like this. Okay, great. Now let's put our knowledge into practice by generating a random dataset. So I will say random data and I'm going to do like random.uniform. It's going to be a list comprehension. I will say 50 to 100. I will say for in range 100 and I'm just going to print this random data like here, and we can see that we have a random data. The length of this data is going to be 100 since we are doing range 100. You can just check it like length and we can get 100 in here just like this. Great. So we created a list of 100 random floating point numbers between 50 and 100. Sometimes you want certain elements to have higher probabilities than others in random selections. So we will use random.choices and weights and we are going to achieve that. Like I will say choices are going to be red, blue and green, and I'm going to set weights like 0.2, 0.3 and 0.5. And let's say random color is going to be random.choices. Choices, we will set the weights like weights I will say k is going to be 1 and we will get the 0, first element of this. And let's also display this like here. And every time we will get random pick from here, but the weights are 0.2 for red, 0.3 for blue, and 0.5 for green. So we can think it like in each 100 selection, this have a 50% selection probability. So it's going to, we can think it like it's going to come 50 times, it's going to come 30 times, and it's going to come 20 times. So I'm just going to rerun this, and we will mostly see green when we do that every time. But we can have like blue, I'm waiting for a red, if we can get one. Yeah, the 20% probability happened right now, and we will get green mostly, as you can see. So it's how we can use this random dot choices with weights. When you need a unique sample from population, random dot sample is a really useful method you can use. So let's say like population is going to be range 1 and 101. So let's call population. And from here, what we can do is we can say random.sample, and we can give the population in here, and we can say k is going to be equal to 5. So when we run this, we will get 5 random numbers from this range. Like here you can see that we are getting different numbers every time. You can just change this k, its sample size. If you do this, you will get 3 random numbers. If you do this like 40, you will get 40 random numbers with calling this. If you do the 6, you will get 6 random numbers. We can also get random bits with random module. Bitwise operations can be handy for certain applications. So we can say random.get random bits, and we can say 4, and here it is. So we can just rerun this, and we will get random bits. So how we can see them is we can say bin, and we can just make it run like this, and you will see that it's different every time, like this. Here I'm getting random 4-bit number, so we can say 5, and we will get more like this. Great. Okay, let's do a real world example. Let's create a random password. We will use random.choice, and we are going to create strong random password. So I'm going to say import string, and after that I'm going to set password length like 8. We can change that later on. I will say password characters is going to be equal to the string dot ASCII letters plus string dot digits plus string dot punctuation. So I'm just going to show you that how each of them looks like. I'm just going to call that firstly. We first need to import the string. Then here you can see that we have our letters. Let's see our digits like this, and let's see the punctuation. Great, so we are going to create a random password with this. So after that, what I'm going to do is I will say random password. We will say this, then we will use join random.choice password characters, and then there's typo. I'm just going to delete this h in here, also from here, and then I will say for index in range password length. So we are going to create our random password. I'm just going to call it for seeing that, and every time that I run this, it's going to change randomly. Like here's our first password, here's our second, third. We can just change this like 20, and you'll get a longer password. You can just make 3, and you'll get different. You can make this 50 like this, and you can get 50 digits. You can remove punctuation like this, and you can use it like this. Great. So it's a random password generator. That was all for this tutorial. Thanks for watching the video. I'm creating content about data science and programming. You can subscribe to my channel for more. I have a playlist of Python videos. I think I have more than 20 tutorials inside of it. You can just check it. Thanks for watching again and have a great day.